say allegedly, has done things and allegedly participated in a lot of things that the public would not be happy to know.
He has to take responsibility for what he did as an individual. Sean is the one who pulled that gun out. Sean is the one who shot. So he has to take responsibility for that.
The controversy surrounding Diddy and Jay-Z has rocked the entertainment industry, leaving fans, critics, and even their closest allies doubting the extent of their influence and the dubious tactics they have allegedly used to maintain their status. But here's the real kicker: as their reputations come to light, the spotlight is revealing a pattern of intimidation, manipulation, and alleged behind-the-scenes power plays that seem lifted directly from a Hollywood thriller. Let's take a closer look at how he, while confined in a high-security facility, and Jay-Z, who is still at large, seem to be planning attempts to control the narrative, silence witnesses, and possibly rewrite their own legacies.
Combs is separated from the general population, right? He's with, or was with Sam Bankman-Fried at least, and the irony there is that someone who was granted bail tried to tamper with witnesses. The judge revoked his bail. So that just goes to show how federal judges feel about witness tampering before trial.
Let's start with Diddy. You would think that being incarcerated would limit his power to influence others, but recent court documents claim that Diddy has been acting like a puppet, pulling strings from his jail cell. According to master prosecutors, he has been in continuous contact with people outside the detention center, using illegal means of communication to reach potential witnesses and victims. According to the methods, he has been using other inmates' phone accounts to make calls, circumventing prison rules, and employing cunning strategies like three-way calling to get around limitations on who he is permitted to contact. This is where it gets even more complicated. According to reports, Messier's calls are filled with coded language, making it difficult for authorities to determine his genuine intentions, even if they were keeping an eye on him.
So yesterday, Monday, Diddy celebrated his 55th birthday, but this year was a lot different. There was no Diddy parties. It was none of that. None of that stuff. Well, happily, so I guess right now. But anyway, so this is his first birthday behind bars.
Prosecutors claim that Diddy has been giving family members and associates instructions to gather information on witnesses, threaten them, and even offer payments to prevent them from testifying. Consider for a moment that this man is sitting in a detention center, yet he still appears to have the resources and reach to influence people outside of it. It's almost as if he believes his power is immune to the four walls surrounding him. Then there is his use of subtly threatening people in coded language. For example, one intercepted phone call reportedly included Diddy referring to keeping the worms away from the house and reminding someone that he kept a sample just in case. What does that mean? In addition to his cryptic references to weathering a storm and needing vitamins to stay strong, many have conjectured that this is code for holding on to incriminating evidence as leverage, a time-tested strategy to ensure loyalty and silence. If this sounds like the plot of a spy movie, it does, but it doesn't end there. It's obvious that Diddy's antics are getting to his legal staff. Despite their recommendation to remain silent and keep a low profile, his own attorneys voiced frustration during a recent bail hearing that he is making their jobs practically impossible. Prosecutors quickly jumped on Diddy's recent social media post of a video of his kids attempting to soften his public image and sway potential jurors, calling it a blatant attempt to influence public perception and undermine the justice process. Diddy is accused of going rogue, disregarding their advice and pushing boundaries. Although the video initially seemed endearing, its timing and purpose raised questions. Was it a sincere fatherly moment or a calculated attempt to present Diddy in a positive light? Either way, it's obvious that Diddy isn't following the law, and his legal team seems to be frantically trying to contain the fallout.
No, I'm not surprised by the ruling because, as she cited in her order, there are very serious allegations about the danger that he potentially poses to other witnesses and the public at large. There are allegations that he has, been violent with others. He's also attempted to allegedly intimidate other witnesses and still contact witnesses while incarcerated.
In Diddy's web, the charges against him depict a man who would stop at nothing to silence anyone who could oppose him. Prosecutors have cited other cases in which witnesses were allegedly contacted and under direct or indirect pressure to remain silent or give positive testimony. Some of these witnesses were allegedly offered financial incentives. The court has repeatedly denied Diddy's bail requests, citing him as a flight risk and a danger to the trial's integrity, while others faced veiled threats. One chilling detail from the court ping revealed that Diddy reportedly instructed his associates to make certain witnesses completely disappear from the equation.
At the courthouse in Lower Manhattan, the judge ordering the prosecution to turn over its findings from a jail cell raid, Diddy's jail cell, just yesterday. What were the contents of those raids?
Well, apparently, according to the defense, their legal documents, the government's saying no. On the contrary, they're just some handwritten notes and a calendar.
Now, while Diddy is organizing his defense from behind bars, what about Jay-Z? His name has been dragged into the same legal quagmire, with accusations piling up against him as well. A civil lawsuit filed by an anonymous woman has accused Jay-Z of complicity in some of the most heinous allegations, but it also claims that he and Diddy were involved in a shocking incident more than 20 years ago. Although Jay-Z has strongly denied these claims, his response hasn't done much to calm the escalating storm around him. In fact, his statement urging the accuser to file criminal charges rather than a civil suit has only fueled the flames, with critics accusing him of avoiding responsibility and trying to discredit the victim.
This morning, rap mogul Jay-Z is denying allegations he assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was assaulted by both men.
And let's not ignore how all of this happened at the same time. Following months of conjecture regarding his involvement in Diddy's legal issues, Jay-Z was added to the case. Some have speculated that the two moguls, who were previously viewed as friendly rivals, may suddenly be involved in a joint defense strategy. In any case, Jay-Z's involvement has damaged his otherwise impeccable public image. Is he merely attempting to disassociate himself from the scandal, or is he covertly aiding Diddy in his attempts to control the narrative, expressing concerns about the potential depth of these accusations?
In a blistering statement, Jay-Z accuses Jane Doe's attorney of trying to blackmail him. He said further, quote, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree?"
What's especially remarkable is how both men, one in prison and the other free, appear to be united by their purported use of influence and power to control others around them. For Diddy, this means using every tactic in the book to keep control of the system inside a detention facility and bending it to his will. For Jay-Z, the real question is how this has affected the people at the center of it all, the witnesses and victims. The emotional and psychological toll on them cannot be overstated. Imagine the courage it takes to come forward with allegations against two of the most powerful figures in the entertainment industry, knowing full well the backlash and scrutiny you'll face. Despite the alleged pressure tactics, some have chosen to speak out, determined to see justice. Their bravery in the face of such overwhelming odds is a testament to the human spirit, even as it highlights the darker side of celebrity culture.
He, of course, is more than annoyed, would be an understatement. He has a family and he has a lot to protect, including his brand. But to the extent that he's saying, hey, come after me criminally, that could be likely. Why do I say that? Because in New York, and what's alleged in this complaint is forcible compulsion. What that means in English is that it's saying that he held...
The world will be watching to see if Diddy and Jay-Z can avoid the consequences of their alleged actions, or if this is the beginning of the end for their reign at the top of the entertainment industry. As this story progresses, one can't help but wonder if the truth will finally be revealed, or if the influence of these two moguls will continue to cloud the pursuit of justice. Only time will tell.
And of course, the allegation is that Mr. Combs did the same thing. And so if those facts are actually accurate, it would require an investigation by prosecutors. And if true, right, you could pursue a criminal.
To fully comprehend the extent of their current situation, we must take a step back and examine the rise of these two titans, how they built their empires, the decisions they made along the way, and the sinister secrets that may have been hiding beneath the surface. With Diddy's legal team frantically trying to control him and Jay-Z's name being further dragged into the controversy, the stage is set for a showdown that could redefine the legacies of both men. The story of Diddy and Jay-Z's rise started with ambition, talent, and a shared desire for success. Both young men from New York were determined to overcome their difficult upbringings and leave their mark on the world. Diddy, with his charismatic personality and talent for promotion, and Jay-Z, with his razor-sharp wit and unmatched lyrical skill, seemed destined to shake the music industry, but their success, as spectacular as it may seem, comes with a shadow that has gotten darker with each new revelation about their alleged exploits and the dubious methods they have employed to get to the top.
If they did in fact occur, their argument is more than likely going to be that this activity was consensual, that this person was a willing participant, and not only that, but that these individuals assumed the risk of being present at those parties, engaging and voluntarily engaging in this illegal conduct of being in those spaces, consuming alcohol, and things of that nature.
Let's go back to the beginning when these two titans were just beginning to get international attention. When Diddy founded Bad Boy Entertainment in 1993, it was evident that he wasn't just trying to play the game, he was determined to rewrite the rules. Meanwhile, Jay-Z, born S.C. Carter, was perfecting his craft as a street poet turned rap. Unlike D.L. though, he was already making waves as a young intern at Uptown Records. Stories from those who worked with him paint a picture of someone who would stop at nothing to get ahead. Instead of being ambitious, he was strategic, constantly calculating his next move. Jay-Z's ascent was more gradual and systematic. Rather than making an impression with large-scale events or well-known celebrities, he established his reputation. Brick by Brick released his first album, Reasonable Doubt, under his own label Rockefeller Records in 1996. The album was well received by critics and established the foundation for a career that would be characterized by both harsh business practices and lyrical brilliance.
Probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes, this was actually in his Atlanta home, home he had in Atlanta. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video, so to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participants in the videos.
The two men soon established themselves as mainstays in the hip-hop industry, but it wasn't until the late 1990s that their paths actually intersected. By that time, Diddy had already made a name for himself as a mogul in singers like 112, and the notorious Big Faith Evens were dominating the charts as bad boys. Their friendship, which was based on respect for one another and a common understanding of the hustle, was solidified during this time, but like any relationship formed in the high-stakes entertainment industry, it wasn't without its challenges. Jay-Z, on the other hand, was becoming a formidable force not only as a rapper but also as a businessman. Although Diddy and Jay-Z's friendship was frequently described as a friendly rivalry, there was always a competitive undercurrent going on behind the scenes. Though they worked together on projects and publicly supported one another, there were rumors of tension, with some claiming that Diddy resented Jay-Z's increasing power, particularly as Rockefeller started to challenge bad boy dominance. Others asserted Diddy was seen by Jay-Z as more of a showman than a genuine musician, someone who prioritized appearance and flair over substance.
Everybody familiar with the old Houdini? So what Diddy's lawyers are trying to do is pull a Houdini. They're trying to say that the evidence that they have is different. Well, it's not different. The video that the entire world has seen is not going to go away. The fact that he had parties that were freak-offs is not going away. So it's just a question of whether or not Diddy is able to.
Despite these rumors, the two men kept a united front, frequently attending industry events together and even working together on music. However, their relationship was put to the test in 1999 when they were both involved in legal issues. Diddy was arrested after a nightclub incident, and Jay-Z was charged after a fight with a record executive. Although the incidents were unrelated, they marked a turning point for both men because their carefully manicured personas were suddenly in jeopardy, and they had to face the fact that their actions had consequences for Diddy. Even though he was eventually found not guilty, the scandal damaged his reputation and sparked debate about the reckless and extravagant culture that seemed to define bad boys at the time. The year 1999 served as a wake-up call for both men, reminding them that the same system that had helped them start could just as easily bring them down. Jay-Z, on the other hand, was able to escape relatively unscathed in part because of his legal team and his ability to spin the story in his favor.
That's it. If it is privilege, of course they won't. But if it really is what the prosecution says, that has nothing to do with the case, or even worse, it's actually evidence of witness tampering, because we all know the attorney-client privilege, there's a crime-fraud exception. You can't use your lawyer to perpetuate a future or continuing fraud or crime. So if the documents are what the government says they are, they're going to get them again. And again, it's just going to be a matter of days.
In the years that followed, Diddy and Jay-Z concentrated on growing their empires. Diddy entered the fashion industry by launching his Sagen clothing line, while Jay-Z expanded his business ventures into sports management, streaming services, and real estate. Their influence went well beyond music, and they became icons of what was possible for Black entrepreneurs in America. However, with great power came great scrutiny, and as their profiles grew, so did the rumors about their behind-the-scenes behavior. One of the most persistent accusations against both men is that they allegedly exploited those around them. For Diddy, this frequently took the form of controlling his artists and keeping a tight hold on the Bad Boys' operations. Over the years, a number of former Bad Boy musicians have come forward to allege unjust contracts, unpaid royalties, and even psychological manipulation. Artists like Faith Evans Total and 112 have all alluded to feeling underappreciated and underpaid during their time at Bad Boy. Mase, one of the label's most successful acts, famously accused Diddy of refusing to sell him back the rights to his music despite Mase offering a substantial sum.
don't expect.
In the years that followed, Diddy and Jay-Z focused on expanding their empires. Diddy delved into fashion, launching his Sinjon clothing line, while Jay-Z diversified his portfolio with ventures in sports management, streaming services, and real estate. Their influence extended far beyond music, and they became symbols of what was possible for Black entrepreneurs in America. But with great power came great scrutiny, and as their profiles grew, so did the rumors about their behavior behind the scenes. One of the most persistent allegations against both men is their alleged exploitation of those around them. For Diddy, this often took the form of controlling his artists and maintaining an iron grip on Bad Boy's operations. Numerous former Bad Boy artists have come forward over the years with claims of unfair contracts, unpaid royalties, and even psychological manipulation. Mace, one of the label's most successful acts, famously accused Diddy of refusing to sell him back the rights to his music, despite Mace offering a substantial sum. And he's not the only one. Artists like Faith Evans, Total, and 112 have all hinted at feeling undervalued and underpaid during their time at Bad Boy.
They probably didn't see these notes, and they never will.
But if you're Diddy, don't you, want your notes back?
Yeah.
If you've spent so many hours, gathering, evidence for your side or, strategy or whatever, for me, I'd be like, oh no, please don't destroy, please return.
Jay-Z, while not as openly combative with his artists, has faced his own share of criticism. His feud with former Rock A-Fella co-founder Dame Dash is one of the most infamous splits in hip-hop history. Once seen as inseparable partners, the two had a falling out in the early 2000s, with Dash accusing Jay-Z of betrayal and greed. The breakup of Rockefeller was a messy and public affair, and it left many wondering if Jay-Z's ambition had come at the expense of his loyalty. But perhaps the most shocking allegations against Diddy and Jay-Z are those that have surfaced in recent years. Both men have been accused of using their power and influence to manipulate and intimidate others, particularly women. These allegations, though unproven, have cast a dark shadow over their legacies and raised serious questions about the culture of the music industry. For Diddy, the claims are particularly damning, given his current legal troubles and the growing number of people willing to speak out against him. Jay-Z, while not facing the same level of scrutiny, has also had his name dragged into the mix, with some suggesting that his silence on certain issues speaks volumes.
I'm not surprised with the decision. I'm surprised that Judge Subramanian entertained it. He held a 2-hour hearing, which we were covering live, and he issued a 5-page written order. Most other judges, including the 2 previous judges, to consider this issue, summarily denied the bail motion. I think a lot of it stems from Judge Subramanian being a newer judge. This is a Biden appointee. He has a civil background.
The accusations have also shown a light on the dynamic between the two men. While they've always been seen as equals, it's clear that their relationship is far more complicated than it appears. Some insiders claim that Diddy has long resented Jay-Z's ability to stay above the fray, avoiding the scandals and controversies that have plagued his own career. Others believe that Jay-Z has deliberately distanced himself from Diddy in recent years, wary of being associated with the mogul's increasingly tarnished reputation.
I agree, and the risk of flight was always going to be a tough argument for the government because obviously Combs voluntarily came to New York. He surrendered his passports through his lawyer. He could have fled after the March raids of his Miami and Los Angeles homes, but he didn't. He has access to 2 private jets. I think it was a tougher argument. I know the government made the argument, but clearly the best argument was the dangerousness and the witness tampering. They had much more evidence.
What's undeniable is the impact Diddy and Jay-Z have had on the music industry and beyond. Their rise to the top is a testament to their talent, ambition, and drive. But it's also a cautionary tale about the cost of success and the lengths some are willing to go to maintain their power. As the allegations against them continue to unfold, the world is left to wonder how much of their success was built on talent and hard work, and how much was the result of manipulation and exploitation. As this saga continues, one thing is clear: Diddy and Jay-Z's legacies are more complicated than anyone could have imagined. Their story isn't just about fame and fortune, it's about power, control, and the dark side of the music industry. And while their fans may continue to celebrate their achievements, the growing number of voices speaking out against them serves as a stark reminder that even the most untouchable figures can be brought to account. The question now is, how will they navigate this storm? Will they emerge unscathed, or will this be the moment that defines their careers and their lives? Only time will tell. And as the world watches, one thing is certain: the story of Diddy and Jay-Z is far from over. So, what do you think? Are Diddy and Jay-Z truly untouchable, or is this the beginning of the end for their reign at the top? How far will they go to maintain their power and influence? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay tuned for more celebrity gossip and insider details. Goodbye for now.